It is so crazy to hear these responses of people and how much their life circumstance changes, how much they changed as people, going from being in grade school, weathering middle school to being in high school, going from being in school to graduating high school, going off to college, like dating, getting married. I mean, we're at the top of the year, we're gonna celebrate, it'll be the 10-year anniversary of Good Mythical Morning. So we're at like 9.5 years
right.
to get to 2,000 episodes. And it's quite a phenomenon that, being on the inside of it, like from our point of view, like looking out at this, it's so nice to hear because I just, and it's nice to stop and celebrate in this way and think about how much has changed, how much people go through. I mean, you talk about puberty, people sitting there watching and becoming adults.
Well, that's the thing that's so interesting to me. And again, very little of what we've done has, I mean, a lot has been strategic, but a lot has just been what we thought we wanted to do, right? And when it came to the show and the direction of the show. But whenever everybody asks us like, okay, well, who is the show for? And we never have a real great answer for that because we're like, the audience is very broad, and that seems like a cop-out when we say, well, sometimes the family will come up to us and we don't know who's a bigger fan, the kid or the parent. And the funny thing is in so many of your answers, and lots of ones that we just read, there's something very cool, and I'm not taking credit for it. I'm saying it's just, we kind of stumbled into it, that we created a show that you could grow up watching and not feel like you were growing out of it. That you could transition from a child to an adult. You could transition from a student to a spouse and still call it a part of your daily routine. And it's just really cool to see.
And I mean, when we started the show, it was after we moved out here to LA. We had all of our kids, but we were starting a new career and we were like, I mean, we did the television show and then we kind of relaunched our YouTube career with Good Mythical Morning as like a big part of that. But we've changed a lot as well. Even though we were already married and in parents and, but the kids were so young and now, the first few episodes, the first few seasons, we would have all these stories about our lives, like learning to live in Los Angeles, taking these kids to play dates in the park and like the stories from Christy and Jesse and everything that they were going through. It's like we were sharing where we were in our lives at that point with GMM being so conversational. And then, I mean, a lot of the conversation has shifted to ear biscuits, but so much has changed about us. I mean, look how much older I've gotten. Look at this gray hair. I think the reason we were when we were committed to developing an audience on YouTube at that time, I think our instincts said we have to reach a younger audience. And we had been doing that since the beginning of YouTube. We were always older than everybody else, give or take.
We were always the old guys.
Who was getting traction on YouTube and developing an audience. So we knew we had to reach people younger than us and really embrace that side of ourselves.
Well, and I think there was a time, and there was a few conversations about this. And I think a lot of it was precipitated by you deciding to stop dyeing your hair.
Which was relatively late in
so
GMM.
Many people, so when we had conversations with people, what we noticed, especially when we had like conversations with people who might be considering another project or like somebody who was in marketing, maybe a brand that we were gonna work with. Whenever we told them how old we were, they were like, what? They always thought
we were younger
that
than
we were probably in our 20s. Even when we were in our late 30s, they thought we were in our 20s.
And we felt like that was an advantage.
Yeah, and we were like, well, okay, we gotta
work on YouTube.
We gotta hold on to that. But then there was as the relationship developed between us and you guys and the way that sort of entertainment and especially, social media and YouTuber relationships with fans have evolved and it's become much more of like a family and there's a much stronger connection than there was when we started. We just started seeing the way people would talk about us as dads, often like making fun of us, whether it was dad humor or you guys are my internet dads.
We were not hiding our age as well as maybe we thought we had to in order to be as successful as we were.
Yeah,
and again, maybe that's not as much of a key.
And it wasn't as, again, I don't want to overstate.
Right.
It wasn't like, oh, we can't let them know how old we are. Like we were fine to tell you how old we were. We just thought that if you thought that we were younger, then that was probably an advantage. And
especially
I think there's been a
the gray
shift.
hair thing. Yeah. That was like that decision point. I mean, I think we did have this discussion, but it was kind of like, come on, who are we kidding? By that point, it's like I can't carry on with this dye job, and I think it looks horrible.
I didn't think it looked bad at the time, but of course,
in retrospect,
looking back,
it did.
Like, it's very dark.
Yeah, I just cringe. I did it myself.
Yeah.
Like, and I would get.
We always did our
help.
own hair for some reason.
There was a couple of times, like maybe 4 times, that I went to a shop. I went to a real trendy Silver Lake stylist, and he colored my hair.
Did he tell you like, you've been doing like just for men, and like why?
He was a soft-spoken dude, very nice, and he wasn't too opinionated. But I had confidence. Like, he's the guy who gave me my my new haircut.
Oh, got
like this is before we had met Anna,
right?
Who helps shape our coiffs now.
Yeah.
So yeah, he cut my hair. It was at the place was called the Foxtail. I'm pretty sure, something like that. It's got a tail and a fox in the title. So I trusted him because he's the one who like gave me my new hairstyle. Boy, that was a big risk because it's like I need to get rid of this boyish hairstyle. But then when I was like, you know what? I'm tired of coloring my hair myself. You can do a better job than me. Then I realized I just didn't like sitting there and people walking in and out and seeing me getting my hair colored. Like I just didn't like that experience. Like that's why I wanted to do it at home. But then, yeah, once it was like, I can't keep this up. It's going to have to change. And then we had the conversation, it's like, who are we kidding anyway? I mean, it's like, this is actually being more of myself. I need to embrace this, and it's not gonna impact, are people watching because they think we're younger than we are?
Because if they are, if we're holding on to that, then that will go away.
Yeah, it's like we need to rip that Band-Aid off.
Well, because you talk about your hair, which I mean, is obviously different. But definitely, especially as we've gone back for the Mythical Society and we've done these react to the early videos, I don't know when it was, but for the longest time, if I went back and watched an early Rhett Link video, I kind of was like, I basically look the same, but my hair has changed. But over the past 3 or 4 years, every time I go back, I'm like, man, I was a baby. Like, I don't know, I can't.
Your face was younger?
I can't tell you what has changed about my face. I couldn't specifically point it out, but I'm like, that face is young and this face is old. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you begin to, and I think that, we'll talk about this later as we're gonna hear from you guys about how the show has been a part of your life change, not just in the stage of life, but it's just who you are. So we'll talk about that personally. But like you said, I think that one of the cool things that's happened over time is just us embracing who we are. So part of it is, yeah, I'm 43. I'm gonna be 44 in the fall, and that's who we are. We are dads. We were dads when we started, but we could be a lot of your dads, and that's kind of part of it, I think.
Yeah, I definitely remember that. I always had this fear that like, when is this success gonna run out? And if there's anything I can control to prevent it from petering out, I wanna do that. And it wasn't that I thought that people thought we were young, but I didn't know for sure. I was like, if this
is one of the factors.
If my hair goes totally white, it's like, why would you watch that guy? Mm-hmm. It's, I was like, I don't know if this is gonna be a factor.
We'll find out.
We'll find out, yeah, that's right. But I'm just glad that we have such a wide range of people watching, because we stopped just catering to a younger audience, and as we talk about the evolution of the show, we came into more of our own, we came into more of ourselves completely, and I think YouTube started to gain more, older people would watch YouTube. People who were more of our contemporaries,
Yeah.
you know, would go to YouTube for different things and discover our show and realize that, hey, this can be for me if I'm, you know, if I have kids, if I'm older, if I'm, you know, if I'm retired, if I'm a retired virologist.
And the funny thing is now YouTube as a medium feels kind of old. Like you know what I'm saying? Compared to, okay, TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And so it's funny how quickly things, I don't think YouTube's going anywhere, but as a medium, it feels like this is sort of a young adult and older person's thing now, you know?